I think no one is more surprised about Trump's actions uh, than Europe. Europe thought that they would be immune from the actions of Donald Trump. They actually gave him some grace. They thought that he would be reasonable. They thought that they didn't put into account the likelihood of dementia. They didn't put into account the likelihood of him being led primarily by uh, neo-Nazi ideologists, and they thought that Trump one would be just Trump two would be just Trump like Trump one, whereby it was basically moderated right wing ideology. They did not expect their number one ally to turn full fascist. And this is what seemed to have happened by as now Trump is demanding they give over a large percentage of Europe over to America. That's basically what Hitler did to was it when he demanded Sudetenland. That's what he did when he demanded Austria. That's what he did when he demanded Poland be absorbed by the German Empire. This is just history repeating itself, and people are stupid sometimes because the clues are there in the history books. This is typical human behavior when you get power. Get enough power and you become corrupted and believe that you are immune to consequences. This is what we see happening in real time. A leader who has who is in charge of the most powerful military in the world, in charge of the most powerful country in the world, and he believes that he is immune. He is immune to prosecution. He's immune to his own people's ire, and he doesn't think that even Congress can manage him. So now his intrusive thoughts are now in full view of the public. He wants to deport Somali citizens, and denaturalize anyone he does not like, and even people who were born in the United States, including white people, some white people who oppose his policies. And to add to that, he seems to be succumbing to the natural decline of his mental faculties. So, this is a dangerous situation that the world is in because we have someone who is unhinged and could possibly pull the world into World War III. Now, to prevent such a situation from arising, given his blatant authoritarian take on Greenland, how about Europe and USA come to a compromise? How about you offer the United States a part of Greenland, maybe the top half, because Greenland is a pretty large country which is barely populated. Offer a part of Greenland, maybe offer the parts that have all the northern ports to America so that they can do whatever they want strategically, even though we know this is ultimately a Trump vanity project. But if you offer a small percentage, maybe like a third of Greenland, you still get to own Greenland. The people still get to own their own country there. And then put a very high price on that portion of land. Consider putting even $1 trillion or $500 million, or probably $1 trillion. That's a lot of land. Or grow some balls and hit back, which increases the likelihood. I think hitting back is more likely to make Trump back off because most of the country does not agree with what he's doing. So he is playing this so-called taco style, whereby he calls someone's bluff, and then if they don't have any hand to play, he will attack like he did in Venezuela. But Europe has plenty of hands to play because Europe can slap sanctions on the United States. It would be chaos, it would be economic chaos, but they can do that, and the United States will definitely feel it. And Europe could ultimately break up NATO, exclude the United States from NATO, which ultimately undermines the whole purpose of purchasing Greenland. And they could do what Canada did. They could look to China, and I think that's already something that is in plan, because China is the second most powerful country in the world. And in this situation, when the father in the family has gone berserker, the kids have to go to the mother. They look to the mother for support and for guidance. So here, the EU can tuck their toes in and align themselves with China, like what Canada recently did, and that will definitely piss off the United States. So these are the cards that Europe has in play. Either give a portion of Greenland, giving the whole country just doesn't make any economic sense. It doesn't make any sense. There is nothing that Europe gains by giving Greenland away, and it just adds to their image as a toothless dog. But they actually have a lot of leverage, and if they can use that leverage, if they are strong enough to use that leverage, which kind of seems like they could, then they should use that leverage. But at the moment, it is just crazy what is going on in the world, because no one thought, people were looking that other way and thinking it's Russia the aggressor, it's China the aggressor, when the aggressor is in your backyard, is right indoors in your family. Either way, however this works out, the relationship between the United States and Europe is, I think it's so damaged that it will take decades to be actually fixed, because the trust is gone. The trust is gone because even if Trump leaves office, how long before you get someone else who is like Trump, or God forbid worse than Trump? When are they going to be guardrails in place that prevent such despotic um, inclinations from the executive branch of the U.S. administration? I don't think so. At the moment, there seems to be no strong guardrails that restrain the executive, because people assumed that the executive was restrained by Congress and was restrained by the judiciary. But it does seem like Congress is captured, and so is the judiciary, because the judiciary has been stacked by Trump aligned judges who seem to be ruling for him in a lot of time. And then there is just the threat of the undertones of being threatened whenever you go against him, as was done with Amy Coney Barrett, who seemed to be going against Trump in one of the judgments, and then she probably got an uptick of threats. And sometimes even the president threatens point blank online. And the judiciary is captured, and so is the Congress, because the Congress will be threatened by Elon Musk also, who has the power to the monetary power, if aligned with Trump, to threaten to push you out of Congress or to push you out of the Senate. So the only way to fix these guardrails, I think, is to remove money from politics in the United States. The oligarchs and the corporations have too much power. They have more power than the average, than most Americans. So they can buy politicians. So that puts an incentive in line to push people who are pro-war, push people who are pro-military industrial complex, and executives who have interests in countries being at war, like Raytheon, Lockheed Martin. Those people want war. So they've got deep pockets, and they push Congress people who will vote for laws that incentivize actions like invading Greenland. So get money out of politics. And I think that's one of the, I predict if Trump, if there's a Democrat president, he is going to be a populist in the next election. I don't know if Gavin Newsom is able to fill that role. He probably is not. But a populist president would advocate for money out of politics, and then that would suck the life force out of the industrial complex, and then America could possibly have some laws put in place that will stifle the kind of actions that we're seeing from the executive at the moment. Well, we'll see how it happens. Let's just hope that we're still alive to at least attempt to put those guardrails.